If you bought or leased a 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 in the first half of the year and are experiencing weird motor noises, then you're going to want to stay tuned because Hyundai just released a technical service bulletin that addresses this problem. So in August, Hyundai released Technical Service Bulletin number 25-01-056H for the 2025 Made in America Ioniq 5. This doesn't apply to Ioniq 5s outside of the US. And the subject of this TSB is front or rear motor gear drive unit assembly replacement, service campaign TDW. And the description reads, certain 2025 model year Ioniq 5 vehicles are equipped with a motor and reduction gear motor gear drive unit, or MGDU, differential gear assemblies that are missing a wave washer. This can cause the MGDU housing to make noise. Follow the procedure outlined in the TSB to replace the front or rear motor and reduction gear assembly. Yikes. This is a very involved technical service bulletin. We'll take a look at the process in a minute. But yeah, I have heard from a few people over the last few months that their Ioniq 5 motors are making some weird noises. Seems like it's mostly happening at higher speeds if you're on a highway at 50 plus miles per hour. I can't really comment because my 2025 Ioniq 5 has not suffered this problem, but I have heard from a few. So this is going to apply to the very earliest cars that came out of the Georgia Meta plant. Here it says applicable vehicles were produced from December 3rd of 2024 until March 25th of 2025. So at this point, any Ioniq 5 on a dealer lot most likely is not having this issue. But if you took delivery between January and probably April, May, maybe even as late as June, you could potentially have this issue. Now, this is not a recall. This is a technical service bulletin, which means if you're having issues with the motor making noise, then you would bring it into the dealership, they would diagnose it, and then they would do the work. This isn't, we're bringing in every Ioniq 5 produced across these dates and we're going to do the work. It's only if there's an issue. Now, if you Google the word wave washer, it says it's a spring-like wave-shaped washer used in fastening applications to create a small gap, absorb shock, reduce vibration, and compensate for assembly play. So ultimately, this is what's leading to that noise. So down here in the warranty information, Hyundai is estimating about 5 hours to work on the front motor and 4.2 hours to work on the rear motor. So this is an involved process. You're going to be leaving your car with the dealership for probably at least a couple days for them to do the work. Now, step one here in the process, they say if you're a technician or have access to HyundaiTechInfo.com, which I do, you can search for a VIN and you should see it as a campaign option. Now, when I go into HyundaiTechInfo.com, I don't see the option to VIN search. I guess maybe because my account isn't tied to a dealership, so I can't do that. But when I do go to Hyundai's recall website and do a search for my VIN, there's only 2 open recalls, one of which is that headlight labeling thing that they just mailed me the stickers and I just put on the lights. And then the other is related to a wiring harness issue in the back seat, which I still haven't taken care of. I know I'm being bad about it, but there is nothing here related to the motor gear drive unit. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to search your VIN. Let me know if yours does pop up as having this TDW campaign listed. As of right now, nothing for me. So there's no photos or anything of the process in here. They're basically telling the technicians to go into the Tech Info portal and look for these specific procedures for front motor and reduction gear assembly removal, rear motor and reduction gear assembly removal. I'll show you some photos of what that looks like here in a second. But basically, they're just swapping out the whole unit and putting in a new one. So this issue is going to cost Hyundai a little bit of money here, replacing all these units. They might rebuild the old ones, who knows? But yeah, basically swapping the new ones. There's some fluid related to the cooling system that needs to be flushed and refilled that goes along with this. So here is the removal process for the front motor and reduction gear assembly. You can see it is very involved. Lots of hoses, lots of connectors, and then basically the entire unit just drops out the bottom of the car. They got to use a pretty big lift to do that. And then once that is out, they got to take the inverter and everything off of it because it's all connected. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty expensive component. And here is the process for the rear. This is really not an easy process. And honestly, unless you are having a real major issue and the noise is just driving you crazy, I don't even know if I would go so far to allow them to do this, because if it's a leased vehicle, who cares? But if you bought your Ioniq 5 and you're going to be driving it for 10, 12, 15 years, I don't know. This just seems like a lot of points of failure in the future where the technician might screw something up. So I don't know if I would personally let them do this involved of work on a basically brand new car. The crazy thing is that all this work has to be done because they are missing a wave washer. So yeah, those of you who are experiencing this issue, let me know down in the comment section how it's been for you. Let me know if your VIN comes up as requiring this technical service bulletin campaign. I'm really interested to see how widespread this issue is. At least there's a fix, even though it is extremely involved and time consuming and potentially will lead to future issues with other parts that are being removed and put back in. I just don't like the idea of taking a car apart this much so early in its life. Really is sad. So anyway, guys, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Check out my store at ioniqguy.com for all sorts of accessories for your 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 or any EV from Hyundai, Kia, or Genesis. Shout out to all my channel members. Your monthly contributions really mean a lot to me. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.